Chidambaram had to say as far as this all-party meeting is concerned. He spoke with my colleague Aishwarya.
Well, joining with me is Congress MP Karti Chidambaram. Sir, how do you see the current situation on the Bangladesh issue?
Very fluid, it's fast evolving, but our primary concern is the safety of our citizens in Bangladesh and also make sure our border security is secure. And further, whatever government comes there in Bangladesh, it must have good relationship with India. We really wouldn't want to have any religiously radicalized government in Bangladesh there, because that will not be in our interest.
So, are you satisfied with the government steps yesterday?
I think the fact that the External Affairs Minister briefed all party leaders is a very welcome step. And we are with the government as far as national security.
So the Indian government also stated that they wanted to give space to Sheikh Hasina and let the Indian government know about her plans in the upcoming days.
We are with the Indian government as far as national security is concerned. We are completely with the Indian government.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. That was Congress MP Karti Chidambaram speaking to NDTV.
We also have my colleague Ghazali joining us to get us more on this. Ghazali, there's no confirmation on whether the United Kingdom has offered asylum to Sheikh Hasina. So it's still unclear what really happens if the UK does not give a green signal in its response to the situation. London, of course, has reacted and they have gone on to say that a UN-led probe is what is required, but has not really touched upon the asylum issue.
Yeah, the asylum issue still remains a suspense, and that shows the kind of hectic negotiations must be going on through the back channel talks to ensure that Sheikh Hasina gets asylum in one of the countries. Since yesterday, we have been hearing numerous names of the countries which could be her possible stay in the future, alongside Russia, UK, Belarus, multiple countries, and the names were sort of rotating yesterday, or rumors were rife that perhaps she'll go to some of these European countries. But as of now, it is no clarity, because even the Foreign Secretary of United Kingdom issued a statement on the overall situation of what was developing in Bangladesh in the last 48 hours, but even he didn't touch upon the asylum issue. So even Mr. Jaishankar, the Foreign Minister of India, briefed the all-party meeting about the developments in Bangladesh, but there is no clarity that till when Sheikh Hasina is going to stay in India. Her daughter works with one of the organizations here in Delhi, and she's based here in the national capital. And right now, we are being told that Sheikh Hasina is here at Hindon Air Base, but we don't know whether her daughter is also around, whether the family will stay together, or what kind of arrangement the government of India will do for her stay till she gets a clearance from UK, or whether she is planning to go to any other country. We don't know that whether her team, who facilitated her exit from Bangladesh yesterday, are also in touch with other countries, because UK is a very interesting place when it comes to asylum, because Khalida Zia, the opposition leader from the Bangladesh Nationalist Party in Bangladesh, her son is also in exile. He was facing corruption charges back in Bangladesh, so he had also moved to UK, where he is staying there in exile. So we don't know if Sheikh Hasina would also get that kind of treatment or facility from the United Kingdom government, and this is very unclear as of now. But what we are being told is that till she gets the clearance, she is likely to stay back here in India, but what will be her location is not known yet.
Right, Ghazali. So also the country faces quite a diplomatic dilemma when it comes to the relationship they've had, say, with Sheikh Hasina in the past. I mean, they had given refuge to her earlier as well. Will they be promising her the same stand, or will they be changing course this time around is a big question, because really what complicates the relationship is the new suspension as far as Bangladesh is concerned.
See, diplomacy doesn't work with the relation with one personality. Sheikh Hasina was the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, and that is when India had good relations with Bangladesh, or say the Hasina's government in Bangladesh. Now, since she is out of power, and this is not 70s or 80s when her family was given refuge in India, India is not in a position to antagonize the people back there on the streets who were protesting since yesterday. The situation is still not calm. And India is also keeping an eye on multiple players. Over the years, perhaps India didn't develop that kind of relations with the opposition leaders, and it was not smart enough also to gauge the situation back in Bangladesh, which was building for the last 3 and 4 months when these protests took off against the quota system to those who have fought for the liberation war of 1971. So now the Indian government certainly finds itself in a kind of fix, a diplomatic fix, because they will also have to deal with those who will be ruling Bangladesh now, the people who will be running the interim government. Then you have the army chief who took all the important announcements and decisions yesterday of taking out Sheikh Hasina safely out of Bangladesh, and then asking people to calm down, and also promising that an interim government will be installed. So India will be keeping a close eye on those leaders who are whose name are who are the probable names to be in the new government in Bangladesh. And we know the characters or the kind of politics the two key parties, Jamaat Islami and Bangladesh Nationalist Party, has been practicing in Bangladesh. We know, of course, know about Jamaat Islami, which was recently banned by the same Sheikh Hasina government a couple of weeks ago, and about the Bangladesh Nationalist Party that never missed any chance of fueling anti-India sentiments back there. Now, the kind of reports which are coming from inside Bangladesh of violence, and a sort of multiple incidents have been reported of attack against the minorities, though Jamaat Islami on their social media and its leader appealed people to stay calm and ensure that minorities are not harmed, while the bigger issue, the larger issue has been resolved, is that the Sheikh Hasina has resigned as the Prime Minister and she is no more in power. But India will also keep an eye on multiple issues which are multiple challenges for India. One, infiltration from across the border. We share around more than 4,000 kilometers of land border with Bangladesh, and we also have porous borders with Bangladesh, which connects with multiple states in the northeastern region. So India will be keeping a close eye on that, and as Saurabh was also reporting that the Director General of BSF has visited those border areas to monitor the situation, to ensure that there is no influx of infiltrators from that side. Then also whether India is in a position, if the situation arises, to give refuge to anybody who is moving from that side, or the people who are likely to leave Bangladesh and come to India. Is India in a position to give asylum to those people? Will that not antagonize the new government? So these are certain issues which the Indian government is facing as a challenge, because when Sheikh Hasina was in the government, India and Bangladesh were jointly working on a lot of issues, be it was to check the infiltration or supply of counterfeit currency or drugs, and also to ensure to check the radicalism on the border areas, near the border areas. And very recently in June, when Prime Minister Modi took oath, or in his swearing-in ceremony, after the swearing-in ceremony, though Sheikh Hasina was present in the swearing-in ceremony, she paid another visit, a special bilateral visit, and met Mr. Modi here. And in that particular meeting in the first week of June, it was decided that both the countries will jointly work to curb radicalism. So all these projects are now in limbo, because reports are coming in that perhaps whoever gets into power now in Bangladesh in the interim government will review all the previous decisions. So will the review scrutinize these kind of coordination between the two countries? Will the new government or the parties will also look through the diplomatic relations of what Sheikh Hasina had built in the last 10 years? So these are the real challenges, and sadly India will have to patiently wait and watch till the new government or the new party takes power or takes charge of the interim government in Bangladesh.
Right, Ghazali also spoke of the interim government which is going to be formed, and it is the coordinators of the anti-discrimination student movement that have proposed an interim government headed by Nobel laureate Dr. Muhammad Yunus. Who is Muhammad Yunus? Well, to get details of that, we have my colleague Vishnu, who spoke with Muhammad Yunus. Listen in.
Joined now by Professor Muhammad Yunus, the 2006 Nobel laureate and founder of Grameen Bank, one of the most well-known Bangladeshi citizens. Thank you, sir, very much for being with us.
Thank you.
I think the biggest worry now is law and order in Bangladesh. We'll talk about politics in a while, but it's law and order and who is in charge. What are your thoughts?
Well, of course, that's a very important issue, law and order. That's where it all began. It completely collapsed. And that's led to the demand for resignation of the government, resignation of the prime minister, and that finally led to that resignation. Today, there's a celebration of the kind that we had on 16 December 1971, when we freed ourselves from Pakistanis. And now we got rid of a very totalitarian government. So there's a lot of celebration all over the country, not just not the Dhaka city, millions of people out in the street enjoying their freedom, that finally we get free from all those difficulties that we have got through. So that's we're enjoying it, and we see that a new era is beginning in Bangladesh. Finally got rid of the people who have been torturing them, creating problems for them. and corruptions and everything all over the country. So now
Yunus, is it
we
not
can
your worry,
create
sir? Is it
Pardon me?
not your worry that there would be more instability going forward? One of the points mentioned.
Hopefully, the instability can be packed into a box and keep it there. That's what Hasina was trying to do. Or instability to come out to create a stability, because ultimate goal, ultimate cure, ultimate medicine of stability is to bring democracy that was completely denied in Bangladesh. So for the first time, we'll get a chance to have a real election. That's what the whole idea of having this revolution.
No, but Professor Yunus, the worry also, sir.
A transparent election,
Right,
not the
by all
kind
means,
of fake
absolutely.
election that we are
Democracy
used to.
must thrive in Bangladesh, no two ways about that. But in the interim period, isn't there a real worry that there are Islamist elements and extremist elements in Bangladesh?
All kinds of elements, of course. That any nation has
And so that's the problem, sir, because why would students go and destroy a statue of the father of Bangabandhu, of Sheikh Mujib, which we have on our screen? Are they not being instigated? This was anger against the Prime Minister.
Blame Hasina for that, leading the nation to destroy her father's image, because she has made so bitter thing for the whole country. They don't mind what they are doing that. It's the responsibility lies squarely on the Prime Minister who did that, made the whole country in that situation.
And do you believe that this interim government, which is now going to be formed, has it in it to actually bring law and order? Because even now, we had a correspondent up just about 3 minutes back, people are looting police stations and making off with weapons.
Yeah, so that's the number one priority, to bring law and order, which Hasina couldn't do. That's why it brought to the point of collapsing of the government. If she could bring law and order, this thing would not happen. So this is the continuation of Hasina regime, that now we have to make sure that the people celebrate and go back and get back to business, get to work, and work in a different way, in a freer way than they have ever done.
What about Hasina herself, sir? She's in India presently. We don't know if she's applied for asylum over here. There were some reports that she might be going off to the United Kingdom. Again, we don't know if the UK has accepted that. What are your thoughts on that? Who might accept her?
I have no idea. You're just talking about having her in India. I don't know whether that would be a good idea, because...
No, I don't know if she's going to... She's in India now. I don't know if she's going to necessarily be in India indefinitely. And I ask that because there has been no word from the British government as yet, assuming that that's where she was headed.
I have no idea. I'm not in the government. I'm not in the contact with anybody. So I have no idea.
What about the rest of her government? I believe the Home Minister's house in Dhanmondi and Dhaka has been destroyed, burnt. There are other members of her government who would potentially be targeted as well. Is that not a matter of huge concern?
Very much concerned. So law and order has to be restored. This is the anger, which accumulated anger that led to it, but it's to restrain, make sure we go back to the normalcy as soon as possible.
But Professor Yunus, the one worry that that so many of us who observe Bangladesh closely is that the interim might be much more dangerous, must be much more dangerous for Bangladesh. Who is controlling these protesters? Is there an element of terrorists who are involved? Are there other groups looking to create instability in your country? And consequently, from an Indian standpoint, since I'm here in New Delhi, could it not have a regional spillover?
Very much. That's what I've been talking to every single interview that I gave. If you destabilize Bangladesh, it will spill over all around Bangladesh, including Myanmar and Seven Sisters and West Bengal, everywhere. That's why I was very happy that Mamata Banerjee came out with the statement that will open door, because he has to accept those people who are coming out of Bangladesh. Because if it continued months and months, this is what exactly happened. Not only they will spill over, they will bring their anger to all these places where they go, and they will make those their places to attack Bangladesh. So that will not be a very happy situation. And if there's a disgruntled people in those areas, they will mix up with them. It will be a volcanic eruption everywhere around us. And Myanmar shells is coming to Bangladesh very frequently now. So the Myanmar and Bangladesh problem again become bigger problem, because million Rohingyas are in here. They will like to go back to the country. Unless Bangladesh is democratically run country, peaceful country, nobody will be in peace. If Bangladesh is in trouble, everybody will be in trouble. There's 170 million people. 2/3 of the population are young people. So you have to make sure that they are happy and they law-abiding citizens, and they know there's a democracy. Their democracy has to be practiced. These young people never voted in their life. All these elections, meaningless for them. They never went to the polling booth because those elections never held. So this is the situation that we are our starting point is. So we have to talk to the young people. Look, it will be in order. Democracy will be practiced, and you will be the part of the democracy that you will lead to.
Is there a worry that minorities in Bangladesh, again in this interim period of chaos, might be targeted systematically?
In interim period, I don't know. But if it is a democratic country, then they have a voice, because their voice will count. Like in India, there's a democracy. The minority can go and vote, elect their own representatives.
Yeah. So it's always a pleasure speaking to you. I wish the circumstances had been different. Thank you so much, Muhammad Yunus, for speaking with us. Thank you so much indeed.
Okay.
Right, and to get more on this, we have Vishal joining us. Vishal, the 83-year-old who is being proposed as the new leader of Bangladesh to form the interim government. Get us details about the man. He was arrested in January this year. He was finally given bail. He was in custody for 6 months or so.
That is correct. So to begin with, he is a man of great influence. He is one of the most well-known Bangladeshis in the whole world. So let's look at who he really is. So Muhammad Yunus was born in 1940 in Chittagong, which is a major Bangladeshi city. He established Grameen Bank, which is a microfinance bank, in 1983, which was more than 40 years ago. He is one of the most well-known social entrepreneurs, banker, economist, and civil society leader. In 2006, for his work in the field of microfinance, he and the bank that he co-founded, Grameen Bank, both were awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. So he, as I mentioned, he did a pioneering work in the field of microfinance. That was one of the main reasons he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. He also floated a political party in 2007, but he ruled out contesting elections due to various reasons. He faced a number of corruption allegations during Sheikh Hasina's rule. One of them was back in January this year, when he was sentenced to 6 months in prison for an embezzlement case. Now he's out, and now he's set to be, the reports are suggesting that he's set to be the new chief advisor to the new interim government. Which party claims the government, that remains to be seen. But the protesters, the main organizers, the students, they are all rallying behind this great leader, Muhammad Yunus, and they want him to lead the new government.
Right. Of course, Vishal, the man had completely denied those charges, claiming that they were politically motivated. And of course, he was sentenced to 6 months, like you mentioned, in jail on charges of this is in regard to labor law violations. But he finally did get out on bail. And from what we're hearing is his name has been proposed in order to form, this is the students who are proposing his name to form the new interim government in Bangladesh. We will keep getting you all the details as to what's happening there and a whole lot more on the other side of the short break.
After a great victory by Indian team, and today we are reporting from Mohali International Airport, where we are showing these visuals. Arshdeep हमारे साथ हैं.
वो performance सही सारा दी थे बढ़िया results मिले.
We are in the city of Kanpur today because they have their champion back home, Kuldeep Yadav.
Desperation for each and everyone to go there and win the World Cup, and we did it.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. "10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and
welcome back. Let's get you the very latest, and this is in regard to the India Alliance leaders that staged a protest outside the parliament today, calling for a rollback of the GST on health and life insurance. It is Derek O'Brien during the 0 hour in Rajya Sabha who referred to a letter written to Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman by Nitin Gadkari making a similar demand. So what really is the demand is absolutely straightforward. In order to reduce the 18% GST which is charged on medical and health insurance, he's gone on to say that we should reduce it because this is an issue which is burdening the people, mainly the middle class. So that is the issue that is being raised by the Indian Alliance leaders. They have brought up this issue, asking for the government to roll back the 18% GST which is charged on medical and health insurances, saying that this is not a political issue, but this is a middle class issue that needs to be rolled back. So visuals on your screen of that protest that took place outside the parliament with the India Alliance leaders there asking for something that they said was demanded, a demand that was made. This is, they refer to a letter that was written to the finance minister by senior BJP leader and Union Minister Nitin Gadkari, making a similar demand. So it is Derek O'Brien who raised that issue during the 0 hour in Rajya Sabha while talking about how this has been made, this request was made in the past by Nitin Gadkari. So the demand is very straightforward: reduced 18% GST on medical and health insurance. This is being asked by the leader of the opposition in order to reduce the burden on the middle class. It is the middle class that is suffering. This is not a political issue, which is what is being raised by the opposition, asking, rather demanding a rollback of GST when it comes to medical bills and also health insurance bills. So we have my colleague Vasudha joining us from outside Parliament to take us through what really happened. Take us through the key demands. I mean, of course, it's very straightforward, asking for that rollback when it comes to medical and health insurance bills, saying that this is really not a political issue.
Absolutely, Divya. What I understand is that what we saw was this protest that took place by that saw the participation of almost a lot of MPs from opposition bloc. In fact, several parties from Congress, TMC, DMK were all part of this, and also the NCP led by Sharad Pawar. And this is a demand that was raised by Senior Minister Nitin Gadkari, and he had written a letter to Nirmala Sitharaman, the Finance Minister, asking for the GST on medical insurance premium to be removed. And this is something that was reiterated today in the protest. And TMC, of course, has basically said that this is, it's going to make this an issue. Kakoli Das Dastadar, while speaking in the parliament, also raised this. Derek O'Brien yesterday also spoke about this. In fact, Mamata Banerjee herself has tweeted extensively saying that this is one thing that the party will not let go of. And today we saw all the parties coming together and demanding the same from the government.
Right, of course. The GST on health and life insurance fetched 21,000 crores, and that is what the government has told the House, that in the last 3 years, that's the kind of money that it has fetched.
Absolutely, and remember that this is something that the opposition has been demanding. Yesterday when Derek O'Brien was speaking, he raised this issue, saying that, he also raised this issue. In fact, the letter that Nitin Gadkari wrote to Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman was far more, insightful, where he said that, taxing the life insurance and medical insurance premiums would also mean, taxing the uncertainties of life, and it would also dissuade people from putting in savings, from actually buying, insurance covers, which is actually very instrumental in the safety and security of their family. So this is something that clearly deals with not just the middle class, but also the aspiring middle class, the lower middle class, and also poor people. And this is something that hits the core of not just the BJP's voters, but also a large part of the country, which is why I think the government will also be looking at this. The protest, the optics of it was very strong, because there were several placards, there were several hoardings that the opposition members put up, clearly showing that they're all united in this front, although it was a TMC that had raised it very vociferously to start with.
Right, when certain insurance schemes that are in fact catering to the poor class, or the differently abled category, such as Rashtriya Swasthya Bima Yojana or the Universal Health Insurance Scheme, those are exempt from GST. Thank you so much, Vasudha, for getting us all those details. And let's also just get you the very latest when it comes to the situation in Bangladesh, and this is according to government sources that the Modi government has asked Sheikh Hasina to chalk out her own future. What we are hearing from our sources is that the government has told Sheikh Hasina no indefinite stay. As far as, from what we were hearing earlier, is that the government was giving Sheikh Hasina time, but now they've gone on to tell her that she can't indefinitely be staying here in India, and that she needs to chalk out her own future. So this is a push by the Indian government in order for Sheikh Hasina, who landed here at about 5:30 in the evening yesterday at the Hindon Air Base here in the NCR region, and now it is the Modi government that is now putting pressure on Sheikh Hasina. Do remember that she still hasn't got that nod as far as seeking asylum from the United Kingdom is concerned. So will she really be getting that asylum or not? And in regard to that, does that mean that she's going to stay on longer in India? Well, it is the government here now who has sort of put a little bit of a pressure as far as Sheikh Hasina is concerned. She has been asked to make a decision when it comes to what she's going to be doing next. Do remember my colleague Maria yesterday spoke to her son, who said that even he doesn't know, at least that's what he tried to claim on air, that he doesn't know what she's going to be doing next. But this is the situation on the ground. She did land at the Hindon Air Base in Delhi, and from what we were hearing was that she was to fly to the United Kingdom, and that was expected at about 1 o'clock at night, but that hasn't happened. She continues to stay in Delhi. There's no confirmation right now on whether the United Kingdom has offered asylum to her. So it's not clear what happens if the United Kingdom does not give her a green signal. Now, in response to the situation that has erupted in Bangladesh, London has only called for a UN-led probe, but has not touched upon the asylum issue. The question, of course, is how long is Sheikh Hasina going to be staying here in the country? And it is the Modi government that has stepped in, saying that you can't stay here indefinitely. It is, whether she'll be seeking another destination, where is she going to be headed? Is it going to be the United Kingdom? And like we were hearing names of other countries, whether it was Russia or Belarus, where could she be heading to next? Do remember that she does have family in London. It is her niece who lives there. Could she be heading there? Will she be allowed? Will she be getting that asylum that she is seeking? Many questions that remain unanswered, which are taking time for her decision, and which is why now the Indian government has gone on to say that she needs to chalk out what she's going to be doing next. So that plan of action needs to be in place, and they need to know how long she's going to be here, and that stay, as far as India is concerned, is not going to be indefinite. That is the stand that the Indian government has now taken. Do remember that India is in a tricky situation at the moment when it comes to the situation that has erupted just across the border. It's a very long border of 4,000 kilometers. India has beefed up its security as far as the border is concerned. The shocking turn of events that have led to the ouster of Sheikh Hasina as the Prime Minister of Bangladesh Bangladesh has now in fact put India in a tricky situation. Of course, we saw that all-party meeting that took place, headed by Jai Shankar. We also saw Prime Minister Modi chairing a meeting of the Cabinet Committee, and that took place late last night in order to discuss the situation. The centre is yet to publicly state how it plans to navigate the situation. But from now, that statement that we are getting, according to our sources, from what we are hearing, is that there is a deadline sort of, that Sheikh Hasina has been asked. I mean, she is here in Delhi. It hasn't even been 24 hours, but the government is now saying that you need to figure out your plan ahead. And to get more on this, we have my colleague Neeta joining us. Neeta, a nudge by the Modi government asking Sheikh Hasina to chalk out her future and that she can't be staying here indefinitely.
Absolutely. Yesterday, the National Security Advisor, Mr. Ajit Doval, accompanied with the agency's chiefs, had met her at Hindon Air Base, where the plan was spelled out to her that she is welcome to stay here in India, although she is seeking a political asylum in UK. But UK is obviously taking time. The application is under process. Mind you, the Labour government is there, and they are very conservative regarding their attitude towards the human right violations. So maybe the application might take time. Meanwhile, she can stay here in India. She also has a daughter who works for an international organization, but keeping the dynamics in mind that she might not be able to stay here indefinitely. So that's the reason why that she has been asked to chalk out her own plans, but obviously she can't stay here indefinitely. Meanwhile, the plane which had ferried her to India from the Bangladesh Air Force plane is now on the way back without her. She is still in the custody of intelligence agencies, as what we are being told. Meanwhile, all the border guarding forces, including the border security force and the army, has been asked to maintain the strictest level of highest vigil as a precautionary measure. Both army and the border security force have been asked to keep in mind to monitor and control any kind of influx, because yesterday when the CCS had taken place late last night, the intelligence agencies had warned that the situation which has erupted in Bangladesh might result in extremism and also radicalism landing at India's doorsteps. The Indian intelligence agencies had also warned the government, saying that both Pakistan and China might try to take advantage of the entire situation. So the CCS had concluded last night, but now what we learn is that the External Affairs Minister is going to give out a statement in Parliament today by 3 afternoon. The government obviously has worked out the entire contingency plan. Some of the officials also indicate that this contingency plan was rolled out as early in June itself, when she was here on an official visit. That time also she had highlighted the kind of situation was there back in Bangladesh, but now she is here in custody of Indian intelligence agencies, but the government has spelled it out clearly that she can't stay here indefinitely. Back to you.
Right, Neeta. So, of course, India there not wanting to be seen as overtly backing the ousted leader, because that may really complicate its relationship with the new dispensation as far as Bangladesh is concerned, given the history when it comes to the relationship that India and Bangladesh has had. So, of course, this change of guard should not change that, considering that it is very important to keep ties with the neighboring country. So, of course, a lot that is going to be unfolded over the next hours when that new interim government is formed, and how India will want to maintain its relationship with Bangladesh. For now, of course, Sheikh Hasina is here in the national capital. How long will she stay? What is going to be her future course of action? All those questions need to be answered. But for now, we are slipping into a short break. We'll be back with the very latest on the other side.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra comes with Google Gemini.
Mohali International Airport where we're showing these visuals. Arshdeep हमारे साथ हैं.
बहुत ही परफॉर्मेंस आई सारे दी ते ਵਧੀਆ ਰਿਜ਼ਲਟਸ ਮਿਲੇ.
We are in the city of Kanpur today because they have their champion back home, Kuldeep Yadav.
Desperation for each and everyone to go there and win the World Cup, and we did it.
This is in regard to the landslides that's killed hundreds of people. The death toll has now increased and it's crossed to 44. 400 people have died as far as the death toll in Wayanad is concerned. Rescue operations are in its last stage, is what the police has gone on to say. So they are now conducting search and rescue operations in isolated areas today. Search and rescue operations in the landslide area, the area that was impacted by 3 landslides that occurred a week ago, which killed more than 400 people, has now entered its final stages. The focus will now be more concentrated of the areas which are inaccessible via traditional methods. A special team by helicopters has been deployed to search the water body for more bodies and remains. So that massive landslide that took place on the 30th of July, triggered by incessant rainfall, has caused over 400